Hey, 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 let those notifications go out. Yes, at our regular time today. Yep, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Truth Seeker podcast live on this YouTube channel. Okay, everybody. So, yep, let those notifications go out. And we're going to talk about this because it's the truth that I discovered real quick. Once I got in here and we got settled, I had to do a dietary reset and all of that. And I know I'm just one person. And so, yeah, I have to take that into consideration as well. Um, and then, of course, well, because the Matrix lies about so many things, well, pretty much everything, that we were conditioned to believe that it was more expensive to eat healthier when it's not. It really depends on how you do it. How many people are you feeding? And how often are you cooking, right? How often are you doing the cooking? Okay, because that's the other thing. And then choices. Okay, where you go out to eat matters as well. When you think about, yeah, we stay away from the fast food as much as possible. Well, I know I stay away from a lot of them. Well, I know I stay away from like McDonald's, Burger King. We stay away from those now. We have for many years, and then of course, when I deviated from the blood type diet, I did go get some McDonald's French fries, but that was it, and that's the last time because I ordered it with no salt, but they put salt on it anyway. Yeah, not good business. But yeah, we don't do that now. And you know, I I've been doing some theory testing as well for me in my healing, and I can tell y'all that it's more expensive to eat that junk. It really is. In many ways. It may not appear that way. Remember, the devil is all about appearances. So you have to keep that in mind. That a lot of these restaurants out here, how they price their items, we used to think that eating out was more expensive. It depends. That's the other truth that has been uncovered in God's reality, is that it depends on where. Like, are you going to a mom and pop, let's say, breakfast restaurant versus a big chain steakhouse? You're going to see some big differences in the prices. And then what you choose off the menu matters, right? Absolutely. So I would much prefer the mom and pop breakfast restaurant. Okay? I don't mind the steakhouse. Of course, I go to those every once in a while, sure. But we're mindful what we order. Okay? We're being more mindful. And so I've noticed on average, this is my theory testing here, that if I get an appetizer and a meal with a couple of sides and a glass of ice water, I average roughly, depending on where I go, like a steakhouse, I can average around, and plus tip, okay, plus the tip, I average around $50. I said, that's a lot of money. When you think about how I could have gotten all those items at the grocery store, exactly. I could have gotten all those items at the grocery store and had more abundance for that amount of money. Yeah, it's not the scarcity mindset, it's the logical mindset. And I was like, okay, so I see what the average there is. And then I went to a buffet. And lo and behold, that was the least expensive theory testing that I have done. And I said, well then, okay. Again, choices. It's all about the choices. like what you pick off that buffet to eat. You see what I'm saying? You have to be intentional. Don't stress yourself out, but you don't have to, you don't listen to the lies of the matrix when it comes to healthier living, because it's not more expensive. It's all in how you do it, and it's all in what you choose. And so we're going to cover some examples, because it's all part of the truth seeking, because the matrix loves to lie, right? The devil is a liar and God is a provider. So you have to remember, okay, and then you want to take into consideration, how much do you really need to eat in one setting, right? We're told by the matrix, we have a big old plate, right? Okay, fill that sucker up. You better eat everything on the plate. That's what we're taught. But we realize something. No, we really don't need to do that to ourselves. That turns into gluttony real fast. And God's, yes, He's clear about that. He's clear about that. And you gotta love when these apps want to update right in the middle of my. No, you'll get update later. Thank you. But yes, hello everybody. It's time to have this discussion because it's part of our movement. So let me go ahead, and for those who don't know, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA Truth Seeker Podcast on CHA YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living, because we can do this, and we are doing it. So it's all about those choices, because we're learning even more so in God's reality that, we're not going to allow the devil to keep deceiving us, right? Remember, God says, I will not have you ignorant. And so we want to remember that healthier eating is part of healthier living. And then I also want to point out, as far as exercise thing, there are several coaches out here who offer low impact exercises for those who may need to be low impact. And I have to tell you, it's not difficult when you set your mind to it, right? Remember? How Jesus tells us, you got to believe. Jesus tells us you got to believe. Well, that's the other thing we're going to discuss as well when it comes to the healthier option. Okay, they just math, like organic versus non-organic. I want y'all to really, I've discovered that the organic, okay, nothing wrong with it, but you got to look at the ingredients, and you also need to look at the sodium content. Okay, because I learned something. Right. It really is better to get the ingredients for meals and things like that, and cook it yourself so you know what's in it. Absolutely. That really is the top way to go. But we also know that life happens, and that, we also know that life happens, and sometimes you're on the go and you're just going to go to the restaurant and pick something up, take it home, what have you. Or you decide to gather up the kids and you just want to go and grab a quick meal. The thing I have for you there is just to be mindful where you choose to eat. Okay? Be mindful where you choose to eat, because places like, I get it, McDonald's and Burger King and all of them, I worked at those places when I was a teenager. So that's fine and nice. But now, as a grown adult who knows never mind, okay? We know about the corn syrup because we want to avoid it as much as possible. We're not always going to be able to avoid it if we're eating out, but we want to minimize it. In other words, we're not going to eat it on purpose because the body does not digest that. right away. It will take all natural sugars first. And so I understand this may not be a popular topic, but it is part of our movement to push back against radio frequency for healthier living. And I wanted to discuss this because there's a lot more truth that we're uncovering here in God's reality about all of this. And I have shared before. Let me go see if I still have it. Yes, I do. I've shared before here, okay, that I went and I grabbed just a few things health-wise, okay? And yeah, I had some dry bean, and as you can see, there's some broccoli, and I've got some other vegetable and stuff, right? You can see what I got: squash, yellow squash, strawberry, broccoli, yep, and then all of that, right? And that's it. I got that to go with some things that are in the house. And so that's not, I mean, I know it's just me, but that just gives you an idea that eating healthier is not as expensive as the lying narcissistic matrix wants you to think it is. I want you to think about something. We talk about this often because the devil does not want people to be healthy. Because healthy people are of no use to the matrix. So, and we're not supposed to be. God chose us out. And in other words, healthy people don't get turned into human lab rats. So, the devil doesn't want people to be healthy because he needs to put people on a bunch of pills to keep them separated from Jesus. That's the bottom line right there. Because inside that matrix, you see the symbol of death. Right? With the snake around the, yeah, you see it on ambulances. You know what I'm talking about. Anything that had to do with the pharmaceutical industry, you see that symbol. You see it in doctor's offices. You see it at the dentist. You see it at the eye doctor. You see it on products. Like the ice pack that I bought. Has that symbol on it. Of course, I got rid of the box with the symbol on it. But that's the symbol of death. All right, that is the symbol of death. Okay, so just know that whenever you see that on the side of an ambulance or a fire truck, yeah, that snake wrapped around, oh yeah, that's the symbol of death. That's rabbit hole stuff right there. And so you have to put two and two together and go, okay. So the devil doesn't want people to be healthy because he doesn't want them to heal. And in order to heal, your body needs what? Nutrients. So with the radio frequency poisoning, that basically keeps a person's circulation from working properly, that will prevent the body from getting the nutrients it needs from the foods we eat. Hence, another reason why it's so important about choices, healthier choices. And I will tell you this, that like you see items in the grocery store. Exactly. Well, there you go. That goes right in line with why the devil does not want people eating healthy, because poor health reduces quality of mind and thinking. Bingo. Okay. Right. What quantity for the strawberries? A decent sized tub. Yeah. Okay. And right. I wanted to go ahead and point that out too. There's controversy around workers from poorer countries not getting their fair share of the so-called fair trade food products. Remember, the world is a stage, right? Okay, so we have to be mindful of what we're listening to so that we don't get tricked into believing a lie, okay? Well, the snake around the stake, but why? Like, how come they do that on the medical thing? Well, because the devil needs people to be unhealthy so they become dependent on man. Because when that matrix can turn somebody into a human lab rat, They undergo all kinds of unnecessary surgery. They get metal put inside their body that will be nothing but a magnet for radio frequency poisoning to keep them dependent. And basically it's just cooking them from the inside out with that radio frequency. Yeah. That's what kills people. Is radio frequency poisoning. Because they're getting cooked from the inside out. That's why it's the symbol of death. Whereas a lot of people believe they're going to these places for health improvement, right? They think they're going in there. No, it's quite the opposite. Although, depending on what you go in there for, they'll go, oh, okay, I'm just give you a few things to take, and then you feel better for a while. But if you're constantly exposed to radio frequency poisoning, it won't be long before you're right back in there. Think about it. Right. Everybody is, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's not true. I'm just going to say that the world is a stage, and I'm not going to get involved in controversial conversations like that because it leads to gossip. So, I mean, they might be claiming that. I don't know. And we also got to remember, is that all part of the show? I mean, yeah, see, we're questioning everything here in God's reality. So I don't listen to stuff like that. I stay immersed in the Word of God, stay focused on my studies, staying focused on healing and detoxing and getting up here and serving God's Spirit and you all with the truth. Because the things that go on out there in the world, God and Jesus are not of this world. Chosen ones, we are not of this world. So we don't want to allow ourselves to get sucked into those kinds of conversations because we don't want to get tricked into bearing false witness. That's my point. Remember, that's one of God's 10 commandments, not to bear false witness. And we did that. All of us did until God revealed it to us. Oh, that's why we don't have a tell lie vision. Don't want to get tricked into bearing false witness. Not anymore. We are in repentance. So, and right, that's what, there you go. It's you're told that that's the case about food workers, but we don't know if that's true. Exactly. That's why we don't want to get tricked into bearing false witness. If we don't know. We're not there. So, but yeah, healthier eating also means smaller portion. Exactly. And because, yeah, smaller portions will save money and you will see the abundance. So let me give y'all some examples here, like I did earlier with that receipt on the dry beans and stuff. It's just a matter of, okay, well, I know your lifestyle and things like that, but it takes time to make necessary changes, but at the same time, making better choices. So I'm not talking about, condiments and stuff. The tip I have for condiments like ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, and things like that, you want to make sure that there's no high fructose corn, artificial anything. Make sure, read the ingredient, okay? The ingredient list should be simple, okay? For mayonnaise, like what? Yes, could be soybean oil, eggs, and then a few other things, typically, is what makes mayonnaise. And then, of course, the sodium count it's all right. It averages anywhere from 60 to 70 milligrams of sodium per serving. But I've learned that a lot of times I don't even eat the full serving. Because like if I make tuna salad and a serving is considered 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon is enough for my tuna salad. So you have to kind of gauge that too. But the thing is that, you want to watch out for that when it comes to condiments. So, and then as far as like my ranch dressing, okay, I have a little dipping cup. And so I've got a fruit and veggie tray in there. I got broccoli, celery, and carrots, right? And of course, pineapple, cherry tomatoes, and grapes. So that's my grazing snack throughout the day. My goal is to always have at least a sandwich-sized plate, right? Every morning, we put it together after breakfast. And that, whenever we're feeling snacky, that's what we pull out. Now I don't even have a full serving of the ranch in that dipping cup, just a very little bit. And so this is the tip, y'all, for healthier living. Okay, so pay attention. So I have that. And so if I'm ready for a piece of broccoli, I have them in small pieces. And so I'll take it, and instead of scooping up a bunch of the ranch all at once, because we're not eating for taste, okay, we're eating for nutrition. So, and the ranch has got some nutritional benefits, yeah. Calcium, okay, for one. But I take just a dab, that little piece of broccoli, a couple of little dab, and eat it. I don't need to drown it in the ranch. Same thing with the celery, just a little bit at a time. On a cherry tomato, a little bit at a time. So that little bit of ranch dressing will last the entire day as I am munching on that. Right. Yeah, munching on that. Okay, there's a healthy tip right there. And I'm going to tell you that getting the pineapple, the grapes, cherry tomatoes, and the broccoli, celery, carrots. I had 12 packs of water, bottled water. I had a couple of condiments that I wanted to put in the inventory. I got a loaf of wheat bread and a few other items. And I came back with quite a bit. $50. I came back with quite a bit. And so, I mean, and all of it was, about the choices. About the choices. Yeah, I will eat store-bought mayonnaise and now the coleslaw, I will get the package of shredded cabbage already, and I'll bring it back here and make my own coleslaw. Yeah, I do that because I like to put apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is really great for relieving air pockets, okay? And it's a great condiment for making your own olive oil and apple cider vinegar with Italian seasoning. Make your own dressing, sodium free. I still do that. Even though I have ranch in there for other things, and I've also got Thousand Island. But see, little Michelle wanted a homemade Big Mac. Make it yourself. Okay, that's what I'm gonna tell y'all. And so I got a package of hamburger meat. I got the buns. I got the lettuce. I got the cheese. And I needed the Thousand Island. So I just got a small one because I don't eat Thousand Island dressing very often. But that's what goes on on the Big Mac at McDonald's. And we made it here at home. And let me tell you something. Well, now I have the pickle. I didn't have the pickle for the first one, but I do now. But I did a single. The second one, she said, okay, we'll do just a single patty. Same ingredient, but I have pickles this time. So there you go. I mean, and making it at home. That may not sound like the healthiest dish to eat, but it's better to do it here because I made it. I knew what went in it. You know what I'm saying? I chopped up the lettuce, the romaine lettuce stuff. So, and no corn syrup, no artificial anything. So there you go. But do we have family-owned butchers? Well, yeah, they're out here. They're out here. Now, where I'm living now, I have not searched, but I would imagine so, that there would be some family-owned butchers around here. But I'll typically just get a pack of hamburger meat from, Walmart or whatever store I might be at, and I need the hamburger meat. But or ground turkey or what have you. See, ground turkey is great also, you all. Yeah, you can make your own turkey sausage. Yeah. So that's really it right there. It's just a matter of, okay, you can research the recipes and you can make modification. Sweet potato hash. Okay, like you all are going to find here shortly. Okay, hash. I cut up the sweet potatoes in little chunks, little chunks with some onion and bell pepper, whatever we have on hand, and I saute all that together in unsalted butter. And I might do 1 egg over medium. Boom. Okay, and before God told me to put wheat back in my diet, I typically would not have any bread with it. But now, a slice of whole wheat toast to help with the digestion, that's a healthy meal right there. That's a healthy meal right there. And so that's another example. And let's see. Gosh, wow. And that's also a medium sodium meal right there. Because at some point, when we go to the low sodium side of things, eventually God's going to have us get to the medium. Because as our body's internal heat is fluctuating and we are adapting, okay, to the new internal environment. Because, well, it's not new to me, or well, it might be, but it is new this time around, especially with the additional dietary changes that the Lord has me make. But still making intentional choices. And so, we did the theory testing on regular peanut butter, y'all. Check it out. Check it out. We're good. Because, right, RF symptoms are blamed on food. And so I remember living with the ex-psycho roommate, and I had been eating regular peanuts my whole life with no issues. And regular peanut butter. But the tip I have, if you're going to get some peanut butter, see if you can find, no sugars added. Okay, no added sugars. That's a big one. Healthier limit. Yeah, that might cost a couple cents more, but it's worth it if you're going to get peanut butter. Okay, look at the ingredients as well. Like, for example, I got a small thing of Jif. Okay, no sugar added. 55 milligrams of sodium per serving. That's not bad. But I read the ingredients and it's very minimal. I would tell y'all, what I do is if I pick something up and I'm reading the label and there's like over half the stuff I can't pronounce, like in these already made protein shakes, oh my gee. I did. I was just taking a look because I was curious. I was like, what is in those things? Since the Lord told me to keep the whey protein in my diet now too, because my body needs all the protein it can get. Same thing for all of us. You want that protein. Yes, including the gluten and vegetable protein, the whey protein, all of it. Animal protein, plant protein, all of it. So, doing that, I was saying, okay, well, I wonder if there's a protein shake already made I can try that I've not had. Oh, no. I would tell you, I was reading the ingredients on them things. And I was like, okay, hold up a second. Like, well over half of the ingredients I can't even pronounce. So I said, nah, we put it back on the shelf. So we do the same thing with anything we look at that we might want to try or we think we want to try because we've never had it. We look at the ingredients and, whoa, hold on a second. It's trying to, but see there, Chris, that's an example of something that is presenting itself as being healthy, but when you read the label, you're like, oh, what are all those chemicals in there? How can that possibly be healthy? I don't know. I don't get it. But that's a good example because Chris brought that up earlier about a lot of things out there trying to pass themselves off as being healthier. Look at the sodium. I'm going to tell you right now, some of those things in the freezer section, listen, I get the whole microwavable dinners and things like that, but look at the ingredients. And even on the ones that say that it's a healthier choice, look at the sodium content. I mean, man, 500 to 600, 700 milligrams per serving. What? How is that healthier? Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, we're looking at this stuff now. And we've been reading labels for years because we were on the gluten-free side of things for quite some time. But when we really let it sink in that was a big trick because RF symptoms are blamed on food. And so I said, okay, then, yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with the food. It had to do with the sodium content and the exposure to radio frequency. So at the house with the ex-psycho roommate, eating peanuts my whole life, no problem. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I go and I eat a spoonful of peanut butter and thought that I had really bad heartburn. Well, God revealed to me, he said, remember how he was tampering with a lot of foods, tampering with your foods? And so you don't know if he put anything in that or not. But I do know he was rigging up EMF pollution inside that house. So, yeah, I was getting electrocuted. So there you go. But it tricked me into thinking that I can't have peanuts anymore, regular peanuts and regular peanut butter. Then go to the blood type diet book, and it tells me for my blood type to avoid regular peanuts. And I said, okay, hold on a second. But see, I'm using the blood type diet as a guide. That's right. God told me, he said, you could do it because we've been on it with the exception of some foods. He said, but because now we know that RF symptoms are blamed on food, and we know that wheat, whole grain, not only aid in proper digestion, but also has all your B vitamins and other minerals and things inside that. And God's like, well, you need that for healing. So I got tricked into depriving this body of necessary nutrients. And so we all did, to some extent, because of the RF symptoms. And so I'm like, okay, because there's like on average about 7 grams of protein per serving of peanut butter. And then I said, okay, I said, all right, Heavenly Father, why else would the devil want to trick me into thinking that I can't have this? Well, because there's about 200 milligrams of potassium in one serving of peanut butter. So you see, the devil wants to trick a lot of people, or he had. Tricks a lot of people into thinking that they can't eat certain foods because of a radio frequency symptom that occurs after eating it. And they get tricked into thinking they can't eat that anymore. I know a narcissist who did that, got so deceived into thinking that she couldn't eat red meat anymore. She couldn't eat this, she couldn't eat that. And so you got to remember something. Every single time we tell ourselves that we can't something, be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. Because God told me, he said, son, if we took the limitations off for the dietary reason, obviously, for healthier living, so that we could put more nutrient back into the diet and use the blood type diet as a guide, because we're still eating according to a good bit of it. But I can tell you now that having a half sandwich, okay, one slice of wheat bread with some tuna salad on it for lunch, and we're good. We're good. That's my portion. Okay? I've always been like that. That if I'm going to make a sandwich, because I'm not huge on breads and pastas anyway, never been a go-to. However, I'm in a season where we got to get those nutrients, but I got to watch my portion. And so I know my portions from before, okay? All the detoxing and all of that. I know my portions, and I know that a half a sandwich with maybe a small handful of chips would do me just fine for hours. And so that's what God has us doing, because it's healthier eating. So yeah, no salt added tuna, albacore mixed with a teaspoon of mayonnaise, pickle, a couple of small, just one square cut in half of cheddar cheese, and then on a slice of whole wheat bread. So that's it. And it was really, yeah, tying me over. And then if I feel snacky, again, I pull out that fruit and veggie sandwich plate that I've got in there with a little bit of ranch to dip. And I did the other day, I regular spaghetti. That's right. And I noticed that the cost of the regular noodles with wheat in it, absolutely. The brown rice spaghetti noodles that I was getting doubles in cost. So there you go. Yep, I found that out. And I said, oh, doesn't mean I'm not going to eat the brown rice noodles I've got. Of course I will. But it just means that, okay, we're going to be more mindful because, well, right, we need the nutrients. The B vitamin, the folate is a B vitamin. It's folic acid, basically. It's needed. And because that one is needed for, I want to say, the proper absorption of B12 and other things. So you have to keep that in mind for healthier eating. And then getting your fruits and veggies, that's a must. And like I said, that's the tip I have for y'all. If you got a sandwich plate in there, or if you're going to take it with you to work, you've got a Tupperware container. Hopefully you don't have any narcissists that like to tamper with stuff. But you want to make sure that you're getting fruit and veggie in daily. And raw vegetables help with proper digestion as well. So while you want your cooked vegetable, you also want to incorporate, even if it's just a few pieces of raw broccoli. That'll go a long way. Even if it's just a stick of celery with peanut butter and then raisins on top. Aha! That's healthy right there. Celery is also a natural diuretic. So if you are prone to water retention, because salt will do that. If you're prone to that, then that's a good one right there. Celery with a little peanut butter and some raisins. Or celery with a little dip of ranch. I mean, celery, raw. And really, absolutely. And then, of course, baby carrot. Or even regular carrot sticks. Whatever it is you have. And you make yourself that. And if you've only got, let's say you've got some grapes and apples. If that's all you got, that's fine. Cut some of that up, put it on the tray. That's fine. You don't have to have, you don't have to have everything that I do, like pineapple, grapes, cherry tomatoes, broccoli, carrots, celery. And then, of course, I've got some grapefruit in there. I've got apple in there. I've got bananas. I mean, really, So it has to be intentional, though. And you want to make sure you get that. So your body gets the nutrition that it needs, especially potassium, calcium, vitamin A, C, and E. Oh, man, your leafy greens are real good for that. So it really is. It's just about making better choices. Well, then that's fine, too. Celery dipped in a little mayo. There you go. And I will probably be making more portobello soup at some point. Yes, we're still making the superfoods. Yeah, we still make the superfood. Okay. Didn't know that about the difference in the white bread versus the wheat, but okay. Pasta by itself, right? Well, little nutritional value, but the wheat flour it will have some B vitamins. Yeah. So it'll add a little. I mean, not a whole lot, but yeah. Potassium in bananas, yes. Did I share bottled food with the ex-psycho? Well, yeah. So I don't know if he was eating the same peanut butter. I don't know. And so, okay, there's a product called Alpen that marketed as healthy and it's absolutely loaded with sugar. See, there you go. That's it. That's another tip, y'all. Watch out for that. Okay, if you're coming up on a product and it marketing itself as being a healthy choice, watch that sugar and the sodium, of course. So that's why we're big on that. And and it does not break the bank. It does not break the bank because some of those things that are being marketed as healthier choices are not necessarily is the point here. So this is why when we go to the grocery store, I know sometimes you want to allow yourself time to be able to look at the ingredient and to look at the sugars, especially added sugars. Oh my goodness. Yes, you want to absolutely check that out. You want to watch out for artificial flavor. You want to watch out for that corn syrup. Yeah, you want to watch out for added sugars. You want to watch out for high sodium counts. I mean, wow. If I see something that tells me it's got hundreds of milligrams of sodium per serving, I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Because that's per serving. You have to keep that in mind too. And basically, really, it's just boils down to, I mean, I know your budget. I get that too. But seriously, in my experience here, doing the eating healthier, my grocery bill is not high at all. Okay. Gosh almighty. It really isn't. Because, well, now that I don't have to be gluten-free, I actually, on average, let me put it in perspective for you all. The last time I went and got what I needed, I got a lot of the usual things that I would get health-wise, veggies, fruits. Then I got the wheat bread instead of the gluten-free bread and some other regular foods with wheat in it instead of the gluten-free option, right? And at checkout, I was impressed and pleasantly surprised that my grocery bill dropped $30 just by eliminating the gluten-free stuff. I know. Wow. So I will shop groceries at least once a week, yes. And then if there is something that I need fruit-wise, because sometimes the fruit doesn't last a whole week, I'll go a second time and replenish the fruit and veggies if necessary. So that's how that works. So how much is in a serving of something? That when you look at the label, okay, when you look at the label at the very top, it'll tell you serving size. A lot of times you'll see 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 2 scoops, what have you. That's what you'll see on average. So like, right, for a whole serving of the Texas Pete hot sauce, for example, 35 milligrams of sodium per serving, and that's a tablespoon, 1 tablespoon. I don't even take that. I learned that because I measured it out one morning and put it on an omelet. And I realized that, whoa, I don't even consume that much in one setting. So, yeah, because I usually just put a few dabs. So I don't even get a whole tablespoonful. So I'm not getting the whole 35 milligram is the point there. But, right. Well, okay, the fruit, it depends. There has been some time where the bananas did not make it. There's been other times where the pineapple didn't make it. And then occasionally I got to check through the grapes and get rid of the ones that may be going. So it depends. One or the other. Either I've eaten it all up or so it's a little bit of both. Okay, so as far as the fruit, not making it the whole week. Because we got to remember, we don't always know when the stores put these things on the shelf, right? So you don't know how ripe or how non-ripe. Well, bananas are pretty simple to tell, but it does depend on a lot of things, but yeah, it can. Fruit it can be tricky, but we try to get as fresh as possible. That's the point there. Just like with the veggies, especially when getting ready to make a superfood, you want the freshest possible. So my tip for that, if you're interested in the superfood side of things, that's basically just taking a handful of vegetable, for example, broccoli, peas, carrots, radishes, or turnips rather, turnips, and maybe some spinach, right, for example, and you cook all of that up and soften it. We put it in the blender and we mix it up into like a where you can either have a soup or you can make a juice. So basically, to make a juice, I like to keep mine kind of thick, and I put it in a pitcher. And so if I want juice, I'll get a tall glass or one of my tumblers, other tumblers, and I'll pour some of that, or scoop, basically, some of that superfood into that tumbler, and I will add water and some ice, and I'll shake it up, and I got a juice. So that's that. And then if I want soup, I have a coffee cup, and I'll fill it up about halfway and nuke it in the microwave for a couple of minutes. Not piping hot, but to get it warm enough, and I'll eat it as a soup. So either way, that's how it looks, superfood, and it's loaded with your vitamins and potassium and all of that. And I'm going to tell you, not that expensive to do that. And as we were talking about with the protein shake earlier, yeah, those ingredients in the store already made, you're better off going to the like Vitamin Shop or GNC or something. You're better off going there and getting an unflavored 100% whey protein, if that's the way you want to go. You're better off doing that. Coming back, because you've got bananas, peanut butter, you see it, and then some cocoa powder, because that's what I did. Made my own. You know what's going in it. That's healthier. Because I don't know what all that stuff is that they're putting in them protein shakes already on the shelf, but I ain't putting that. No. Okay. I just make my own. I have a little mini bullet blender thingy, and so I put a scoop, 25 grams of protein, a scoop in there, with a little bit of cocoa powder. Then I put of course, water, and I shake that up first. Then, because it comes with the lid, the little mini bullet comes with the lid, and then of course the blender thingy and the blades. So I do that, and then I take the lid off, a banana in there, peel it and chop it in there, and then I put a couple of teaspoons, a couple of teaspoons of regular peanut butter in there. And I blended that. That was my protein shake today. Ooh, there you go. And I didn't have a bunch of crap in there. Yeah. Listen, if you do consume the store-bought protein shakes already made, that's your prerogative, but I don't do it. Not anymore. I did years ago, but now, because of our level of awareness and seeking this truth in God's reality, that no, it does not cost an arm and a leg to eat healthier and to live healthier. It doesn't. Because even if you don't have a gym membership, you can get out there and start walking. Go find a park, start walking. Not everybody got access to a gym in their apartment complex like we do, but you can get out, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, get that vitamin D. Absolutely. Remember, the body likes things natural. Anyway, God designed it to do that. He designed our bodies to get the nutrients it needs from food, okay, and not from supplements. I mean, if we're taking some supplements, that's one thing, because, well, let's face it, especially during the detox. So yes, I am taking a multivitamin and a few supplements. However, here's the thing. It's only for a season. So each time I finish one of those additional supplements, we're done. That's what the Lord, that's why he said, put some other stuff back in your diet. Because once we get through the treatment, if you will, of these other supplements like an extra magnesium. Once we're done with that bottle, we're done. That's what he told me. He said, we're done. So you got to remember that it's just for a season, but the multivitamin, right? And then the occasional kelp, because it's got the iodine that our thyroid needs, things like that. And it does not have to cost an arm and a leg. It just really is a matter of choices. And, well, yeah, a level of laziness. I mean, let's face it. I'm not saying that going out to eat every once in a while is being lazy. No. I'm just saying that how much you're willing to put into cooking your own stuff and preparing your own meals. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something. Chris found out that he actually liked cooking. He didn't think he liked cooking, but he found out that he actually likes it. So there might be some of you thinking the same thing, but then you come to realize, hold on a second. We're being radio frequency poisoned. And so we got to do something. We got to make some changes. And so that's where Patreon digital product line comes in handy too for you all. If you are just getting started or you've been making changes and you need some guide, okay, need some guidance, if you will, I've got low sodium guide, an ultra low sodium guide, a high protein, low carb menu guide, okay, and so I've also got combating radio frequency tips and hacks #1 guide available for you all on the Patreon channel. That link is listed below. And remember, there is a free membership side to it if you want to test the waters before becoming a paid member, okay, for as little as $5 a month. And those guides, though, if you click on shop, when you go there, those guides will pop up. And whether you're a member or not, you can purchase them. They're digital, of course. And so I highly encourage anyone who is concerned about like storage space on your device, grab yourself an external hard drive. They're a dime a dozen out there. They're not expensive anymore because we all get them because of the digital era that we live in. Because digital product definitely feed into instant gratification. Oh, yeah. And so you can get your digital guide for healthier living. And you can fine tune and tweak and modify those, okay, to work with whatever it is you already have on hand. You don't have to run out to the store and buy all that. Have I managed to try the shoulder stand on the CHA website? Yeah, I know you love cooking now. It's an art form. You can combine individual foods to make something new. Yeah, food alchemy. Yeah, and cooking nowhere near as hard as you think. That's exactly right. It's not. I'm not sure what we're talking about with the shoulder stand on the CHA website. Refreshed my memory on that. And so the superfood, okay, when you make a superfood in that picture, okay, you don't have to let it cool off like all the way to room temp. Okay, you don't have to, but let it cool off enough. Y'all, I can't help that. It's going to happen every once in a while, so pardon me. But if you've got it airtight and you got your vegetable relatively fresh, here's the tip I was alluding to earlier with that. Is if you go to the produce section, let's say you have 5 veggies picked out that you want to put in a superfood, and you go and you look at the broccoli that in the fresh produce, and you see that it might be starting to turn a little, go to the frozen section. See, because those are blanched, meaning they are partially cooked before they're frozen. So, same thing with green. In fact, the last batch, that's what I used was frozen peas. Okay? And anything that you can find, okay, produce wise, and you see that it's turning, go to the freezer section. Okay, think outside the box, chosen one. Like, go to the frozen section. You can get frozen veggies. I've gotten the frozen spinach before instead of the fresh baby spinach. I've gotten, there's frozen carrots, frozen broccoli. It just depends on where you shop as to what you'll find. But, really, it's not complicated at all. And you really only have to, you don't have to have 5 veggies. You can do just 3, and you'll still get plenty of potassium and nutrition in the superfood. Now, I add garlic. Sometimes I use mint garlic. I have found that mint garlic, like in one of those guides off the Patreon channel, I have found that mint garlic itself, it serves as a really neat preservative. And so when I use it, my superfood will tend to last sometimes a little over a week. It depends on how fresh the vegetables were. Okay, it depends on how fresh, because I put the minced garlic in there, full of onion powder, a couple of dashes of cayenne pepper, that kind of stuff. There's variations. There you go. Okay, you can make a variety of different superfood with different veggies. You don't have to eat the same ones all the time. That's the beauty behind it, right there, for healthier living. And frozen veggies, no, they don't. Frozen veggies do not lose their, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that the frozen veggies, even though they've been blanched, like partially cooked, that doesn't mean that their nutritional value has gone down. No. No. The only thing that would, watch out though, and make sure the frozen veggie is just the frozen veggie and no salt, no anything else added, okay? Because that's the kicker right there. Is I'll look at the back and it just says peas. That's it. No salt, no nothing. Okay, yeah, that's going in the basket. Okay. So, the shoulders stand for circulation to the brain. Oh, are you talking about CHA Academy? Not my main website. You're talking about at the Academy. Okay, like the shoulders stand for circulation to the brain. Okay, no, I have not gotten around to that yet because we are still ice packing. I gotta finish that season before I even attempt something like that. Okay. But yeah, no, frozen veggies are just as nutritional as fresh, really. And with the overall scheme of things, when you think about how many veggies you're going to put in there, right? You're going to put at least 3, I would say. At least 3 different veggies. So you're still going to get your potassium and your vitamins and things like that. Absolutely. So I think that's why I said if the produce, especially during the summer, if the produce looking like it's, see, that's the thing about portobello mushrooms, because portobello mushrooms are high in vitamin D along with other things. So if you go to the store and you get you want to make portobello soup, real simple. I'll soak large lima beans, which are butter beans. I'll soak some dry lima beans overnight. And then if I get some fresh herbs, like fresh basil is really a go-to for this one, with the lima beans and then portobello mushrooms. And that's it. That's just 2. I know I said 3, but this one here is for the mushroom, the nutrients and the vitamin D from a lot of potassium also, because you get protein and potassium from the lima bean. And so the lima beans, I feel you can use Great Northern beans. You can really, I've done it with black beans before and made a mushroom soup, and it comes out really well too. So it just depends on what you got on hand, what you prefer. But after I cooked all that up and I went and I got the mushrooms, I take them out of the pack. Now, if I'm not going to make the portobello soup right then, I call it a soup, okay? Because that's the way I prefer to eat it. I don't want to make a juice out of that. So that's why it's just 2 ingredients there. A superfood going to have, for me, it's going to have at least 3, because I'm going to make a soup or a juice out of it. But the portobello one in particular, if I go to the store and I get a nice big pack of portobello mushrooms, I'm going to bring them home and I'm going to check them. Because that's the other truth I learned about the Matrix, is that especially when it comes close to the cooler season, okay, they'll put those portobello mushrooms, they'll stock them when they're almost ready to expire. So I found that out. And so what do we do to get around that resistance? Okay, I come in here, I open up that pack of mushrooms and I will inspect. Because a lot of times you'll find, I found underneath the top layer, a few of them that were, that's deliberate. So I said, okay, what we do is we're like, okay, it's not going yet. You could tell it's not smelling like fish or anything yet, but you see there's moisture on there. So what I do is I get them all out of there and I get them washed up. I cook them right then and there. I will cook those suckers up, because once they're cooked, they've been saved. Okay? They've been saved. So at that point, I'm like, okay, good. Then I'll put them in a Tupperware container, because I'm soaking my lima beans still, right? Okay. And so the next day, I want to make the soup. I want to make that soup. So then I'll cook the lima bean, pull out those mushrooms, and once the lima beans are close to being done, I'll throw the mushrooms back in to warm them back up. Okay. And then with that, I'll have, let's say, fresh basil. I've done cilantro, and it works well too. But basil, just, I don't know. It's just something about that basil with that. But I will use garlic powder. You can use minced garlic if you want on that as well. But I'll garlic powder, a little onion powder, and again, a couple dashes of cayenne pepper. Sometimes a couple dashes of dry mustard. All four, right. And no added salt, no added sugars. Real simple to make, and real, oh my gosh, very, very nutritious. And I do know that after you eat a bowl, or for me, I get coffee cup, you eat a portion of that nice and warm, because your body is just saying thank you for the nutrients. You will notice it. Oh yeah, you will notice it. The parsley and spring cabbage with yours. Okay, see, that's the thing. You can modify. All right, there you go. If you put parsley in there and spring cabbage with your portobello soup, have at it. Yeah. Okay. You haven't been able to find dried lima beans yet. Okay. Well, you don't have to use limas. So if you can find another dry bean that, Great Northern, I find that to be intriguing that you haven't been able to find the dry lima bean. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, of course, yes. Still healing. Absolutely. And so I haven't forgotten about it, though. I haven't forgotten about the exercise. So for those who don't know, at CHA Academy, our fellow warrior has been sharing some awesome tips for detoxing and also for facilitating circulation in the body. And we thank you, because they're awesome. Okay. And not only that, but we have weekly fun fact videos and short Bible studies that go up every week. We have, word of the week. And we also, we have things going on. We've got the spaces. We've got academic articles. There you go. And CHA's book club. And the shoulder stand is simple and it works. Oh, I'm sure it does. I can tell by reading the instructions for it. Because when you think about how your body is going to go, and then it's going to, your circulation is going to go in the direction that your body's moving, typically. So, I'm glad you like posting there. Thank you. And it is a great site. We've got a lot going on inside the community. So if you're interested in checking that out and you're not sure about wanting to enroll in one of the courses yet, you could always, You can always become a member. And if you choose the annual membership, yep, that saves you 25%, and you get access to the community forum where all of this stuff is going on. We're posting weekly postings, and then sometimes more than once, just depend, on what God puts on our spirit. But at CHA Academy, it's just a level up for your trauma healing and spiritual growth. And we've got the How to Detox nutrition course, right? How to detox from trauma nutrition course available at the Academy as well. That goes right in with what we're talking about today, the healthier living, because it's not that expensive. It doesn't have to be. So for all our courses, you've got the option of a one-time payment or 5 monthly installments, okay? The videos and the materials already there waiting on you. That's right. We don't do what we don't do what a lot of people do with getting you in with a free 30-minute webinar claiming to give you some top tips, and then tell you a bunch of stuff that you want to hear, and then when you get to the end, and to learn those tips, boom, slap a big price tag. We don't do that. What you see is what you get at CHA Academy, okay? Right, and the ANS course is there as well, because our autonomic nervous system, oh my gosh, it needs nutrition. It needs healthier living and healthier eating, because the autonomic nervous system is the target, okay, with this radio frequency poisoning and manipulation, okay? It is the ANS, our inner child. And let me tell you, mine became a case study. That's how I was able to bring you all that course. It's a trauma-intensive healing course, right? All about the inner workings of the ANS. And I'm going to tell you, because, boy, that level of awareness, man, that's right. That level of awareness of your autonomic nervous system and how it's responding to things will open your eyes to a lot more of the devil's devices out here and what he's trying to do to keep people unhealthy, off balance, and in a fever-induced state. Basically, so that they make poor decisions, they lose their self-thinking ability. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there you go. It happens every once in a while, y'all. But yeah, at the Academy, there's a bunch of value. Okay, really, you got to think of it that way. The value that is available there. There's a ton of stuff to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth with God's wisdom, basic scientific fact, tried and true technique, and more. So that wraps this one up for today, you all, because the truth is, healthier living, healthier eating, it does not have to break the bank. It's all about and how you do it. Okay? And we will be bringing you all more healthy eating and living tips on the Patreon channel. And, even to the website at some point. But right now, we're building our Patreon channel digital product line. It goes right in line with the combat against radio frequency for healthier living. So y'all are welcome to check those out. Again, external hard drive. Once you download those things, you got it for life. Those are references. They serve as guide. And so you can modify, those things with what you already have on hand. That's the beauty behind it, is that you don't have to go, make, let's say you get the high protein, low carb menu guide. All right, well, that particular meal, you can substitute something similar that you have on hand already. If you want, you're like, oh, that looks like a good meal. I want that one. Okay, then you can substitute. You don't have to go run out unless that's what you want to do. It's your prerogative. But, like if you've got, let's say instead of salmon, you have cod in the freezer. You can use the cod fillet instead of the salmon fillet. Either way. And your protein and sodium counts and all that are going to be around the same. All right, so there you go. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chris, everybody. And yeah, just keep on keeping on. Don't allow naysayers. Listen, if a narcissist is around you and you're starting to make these changes and they want to start nagging at you, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Because you're doing this for you. You're doing this for God's glory. You're doing this to take better care of that temple for the Holy Spirit. That's right. You're doing it for healthier living. Because we can do this, and we're doing it together right here at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.